Jamie Pajoel, venture capitalist and a global business leader. Jamie Pajoel is a president, Legislative Leadership Education Canada, CEO of Vantage Group, a multiple million investment comprising Vantage Heights Capital, Vantage Canadian College, Vantage Studios, Vantage Consulting, Vantage Certifications. As a global leadership and management consultant, he consults for government institutions and provides training to top government officials, captains of industry, senior executives, managing directors, senior and middle level managers from different organizations across the globe. Jamie Pajoel is a brand name in the field of leadership and management consultant and is making waves internationally with many ideas on organizational leadership, simplifying processes, identifying underlying problems in business, and addressing effective leadership practices, all of which can give rise to a dysfunctional system if ignored. He is the author of Executing with Excellence, Building Strong Institutions, Leading from Within, and Less is More. As a leadership and management expert with experience in designing, implementing, and managing corporate training, which foster human capital development, his approach offers innovative methods for gaining employee commitment to organizational objectives. It incorporates real case studies and practical applications that support managing diverse personalities and an in-depth understanding of why human experience approach is critical to organizational success. Jamie Pajoel is a recipient of the State of Michigan Leadership Award in the United States of America and a delegate to President Bill Clinton program in the United States of America. As an international keynote speaker, Jamie Pajoel has delivered speeches as well as attended leadership programs at Johns Hopkins University, Carey Business School, Baltimore, Maryland, African Union Headquarters, Ethiopia, U.S. Embassy, Abuja, Nigeria, and World Bank Summit, Washington, D.C., USA. Jamie Pajoel is a founder of JPI, Jamie Pajoel International, an NGO with a vision to support over 1,000 families under JPI Family Support Series, provides education scholarship through JPI Education Scholarships, provides access to global opportunities through JPI Global Exchange Program, and supports young entrepreneurs to gain access to funding through JPI Enterprise Grant Award.
I am so excited to be with you today, and thank you so much, my brother, the host. Thank you so much for this invitation. I honestly wanted to be with you, but apparently my flight to Nigeria has been scheduled for next week. I wish I'm there live with you. But of course, I do believe that when it has to do with impact can be made from anywhere in the world, and which is one of the things that I want to be able to speak with you today. Right, the subject of leadership, conference, and all of that, it's something that excites me so much. So my name is Jamie Pajoel, as rightly said, and my work cuts across leadership, development, and this is something that I do across the world. It is something that I'm excited doing. In the last 10 years, I've trained over 10,000 professionals across different part of the world and also including Nigeria. Just like my brother said, in August, I was in Nigeria and we hosted about 3,000 people in the Imo State for JPI Annual Leadership Conference. The topic that I've been asked to share with you today is something that is very, very important. And I believe and I can see young people in that room. And you know, one thing about young people, that anywhere we are, there is so much energy. Please, if you're a youth in that place, I need you to give me a shout. Awesome. Now, we are talking about youth participation in governance, youth participation in leadership, youth participation in politics, and how that can facilitate in driving the economy. It might interest you to know that my journey is quite an interesting one. Having been born in a family of 7, where feeding was by faith. You know, I grew up from the age of 10. My dad and my mom had issues, so the family separated. So you had the Chelsea family and the Man U family. It was such an interesting upbringing because at the age of 10, I was exposed to hawking in the street. I started selling garden egg. You know, I remember vividly from school, primary school then, once it's after the school is over, we would go to the market and then I would package the garden egg. And then there is this friend of mine, sadly, I will always have to pass their house in order for me to go to where I need to go and sell my product. And then they will always come out in front of the corridor and watch me shout, "Buy garden egg." Now, one of the things that you must understand as a young person, that in your journey of life, as you aspire to grow, you must be unashamed. Irrespective of where you're coming from, especially for those of you that you truly know that you're from that humble background, you must not be ashamed of where you are, but you must be always having that drive to be able to aspire for more. So my journey for leadership started at that age of 10. Why to me then, people thought I was selling just garden egg, but they didn't know that I was mastering one of the skills that is in high demand in the world today, which is the ability to articulate your thought effectively and being able to convey your message to the world. And today I am using my voice to be able to spread the gospel of leadership, politics, and governance across the world. Youth participation in leadership, to me, or in governance or in politics, is not just an agenda. It's not just something that we just have to talk about. It's not just a topic. Globally, you have young people leading change in different spaces of positions. To me, I've been privileged. I was once invited at the African Union to address the leader. That was my first time of traveling outside of Nigeria. And of course, it was such an awesome opportunity. And then again, I was invited to be able to speak at the World Youth Summit. But most importantly is that those things that happened in the past, they were like a pathway towards where I need to go, and which is a journey that you and I must undertake if we truly want to be able to participate. When I hear things that young people deserve a chance, young people need to be given an opportunity, and I tell you, shut up. Because nobody gives you an opportunity. You have to tell the world that you are ready for it, and you have to also to be able to contest in order to have it. I live in Canada, and I get so annoyed when I hear things like Black Life. I'm like, do somebody need to come and tell you, or do you need somebody to come and give you a special seat? When you are loaded, you'll be needed. There is no platform on earth. There's no platform on earth that anybody, be you pink, white, black, or color, you can intimidate me. Because when I show up with authority. I show up to prove the stuff that I'm made of. So as young people, you must understand that preparation is what is required for us to be able to participate. For someone like me, I'm a visionary leader. And I have seen the future. And guess what? I am preparing myself every day by day, in order to meet that expectation. So traveling around the world and speaking on the subject of leadership is something that excites me so much. And it's something that I wanted to excite you. But here is the key. The country we live in, Nigeria, as of today, it's in need of young people, not just young people because you are young, but young, credible, influential, powerful young leaders. So when you think about youth participation in leadership, I want you to see that young person who is not just young and crying for people to give them power, but we are talking about dynamic young people who have prepared themselves, who are ready, who have equipped themselves. Because the stage is where we perform, it is not where we prepare. As someone, I consider myself to be a future legislator because I love policy making. Policy affects and determines how much we buy food. Policy determines and changes everything. And it happens to live in a country where I've seen good policies changing things. And so, having seen that, what the future looks like for me, that was how I went and I started Legislative Leadership Education Canada as a platform that will not just help me to get into that position of power, but to also groom young leaders who are interested in policy makers. So connecting the dots here is a man who have seen something and who is already putting system and structure in place in order to help him to get to that point. Are you following me? So when we talk about youth participation in leadership, because I'm seeing some people here, young men who are dressed in suits, the type that I would like to speak to. But here is the key. Even in secondary school where you are, I need you to know there's something called student leadership. Which means that right from where you are already taking some leadership role. You are already positioning yourself right from that secondary school. Because guess what? The dots, a great mentor told me this. He said the dots will always connect. And when they connect, it will connect backward. What that simply means is that tomorrow when you get to a place of power and somehow you're wondering, how did we arrive here? When you connect the dots, you will connect it to those things as that you were even doing even when you were in secondary school. So that is why you must not joke with the things that you are doing today. That is why you must see the need for you to also to be able to prepare yourself. It was in 2016, I was invited by President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. And then it was at that event that it dawned on me that I was not invited here because I was young, but because I was found credible, but because I had a message that required people to listen and to hear me. So the word is not going to give you, the word is not going to give you a space just because you're a young person. But when you find your place, the word will give you a space. That's the way it works anywhere in the world. So youths can participate in politics, not through agonizing, but by organization. By you organizing yourself, by you preparing yourself, by putting system and structures and core values around your life in such a way that when there is a need, when you see an opportunity to participate, people would not just consider you just because you're a young person, but because you have what it takes. In the last 15 years of my life, guess what I've been doing? Preparation. I've always imagined, what does it mean like to work with the President of the United States? What does it mean like to work in the office of the Prime Minister of Canada? And that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. And that's what's going to happen. I remember a few years ago telling a friend of mine, and I said, then I will always, you see this? Let me show you this. The reason I have this in my office is not because just for fancy, but there's something it does to the mind. And every day I look at this word. I started doing this even as far back as 10 years ago, 10 to 15 years ago. I always play around country flags. So when you see me having this here, it's not because it's nice, it's just fine. And every time I look at it, I tell myself, you are a global personality. So there are some things that you have to do today in order to intentionally position yourself. I live in Canada, but I command influence in Nigeria. I command influence in my state. I command influence in my village. Yet I am sitting here in Canada. And someone was wondering, how did this guy who lived in Canada came to Imo State and shut down the whole state? And I told him one thing. I didn't just arrive. I have been there. You are just seeing me now. I didn't just show up from anywhere. I have been there. There were days of little beginning, those days where we will be doing things and other people thought that we were joking, but they didn't know that a gold must have to pass through process in order to become a product. So I want to leave you with a simple message today. If you must function effectively in this dispensation that we are into, then you better know that we are late. And so therefore, individually, you must begin to brace up and find your space. When you find your space, give it all it takes. And I say this to you, any money that leaves your pocket and goes into developing your mind should never be treated as an expense, but as an investment. Any money that leaves your pocket and goes into you developing your mind, never see that as an expense. Treat it as an investment, because every investment must have what is called return on investment. There were those years when I used to beg people to give me a platform to speak for free. Today, people beg me to speak for a fee. It's just the way it works. It's a process of seed time and harvest time. But when you miss your planting season, it means you will have an empty basket. That's not the kind of life you want to live for yourself. The time we are into, the country Nigeria is in dear need of not just leaders, because I hardly find inspirational leaders or politicians in Nigeria. There are some, but the goal is not to become a leader. The goal is to become that leader that is inspiring, that can communicate hope, that can give people a reason, a meaning to live. Like I always tell people in the business world, so the goal is not to become a businessman or woman. The goal is to become a business leader. The goal is not to be successful. The goal is to ensure that when you are successful, you also create a platform that will make other people great. There are billionaires in Nigeria, but not all billionaires are inspiring billionaires. There are leaders, but not all leaders are inspiring leaders. So the leaders that I am advocating for you to become is that leader that has credibility, competency, character, charisma, courage, because everything you need to do that you truly desire is on the other side of fear. So as young people, you must understand that preparation is key. I have been preparing for more than 15 years and I am not yet done. So friends, this leadership conference is an invitation for you to know that we don't have time. Because when opportunity will come, it will not give you time to prepare. That's why you need to prepare now. It is my honest expectation and desire that everybody in that room become not just successful, but significant. But just like the academic system, people are being admitted, but everybody must apply that level of intentionality and work towards graduation. Which means that we must position ourselves in order to become relevant. I travel around the world and I see young people driving change. And of course, I must say that there are millions of young people in Nigeria who are leading change. And I want you to take a moment and just clap for them, even if you don't know them. There are a lot of young people in that country that are doing amazing work. And some of you are one of them. And so we must continue to celebrate those who are working daily, both from the entertainment industry Sometimes I look at these people, these guys in the entertainment industry, the content creation, and I see what they are doing, those in the tech space, and I see what they're doing, and I see how the whole world is coming to Nigeria looking for tech solutions to invest in and to buy. And I look at in the arts sector, in the educational sector, we young people were doing extremely well. But we can do more. And in order for us to do more, we must prepare. We must put in that extra effort so that we will not just exist, but to truly live. And at the end of the day, the goal is to leave a legacy. One of the things that I am working for tirelessly is to get to a point where my name, Jamie Pajoel, will be the only profile CV that I will have. And it means that that name will have to drive impact, influence, and the last and very importantly, income. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to truly let you know that my heart is with you and our brother over there who has put this program together. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please, can you take a moment and appreciate him, right? It's not easy to pull this kind of crowd together. It's not easy. I do programs and I know what it takes to be able to bring people together. And I hope that one day, even as you go back to your individual, to your location, you begin to think of one thing. How do I position myself strategically? I'll leave you with a story that you already, probably some of you, you know about spider. And sometimes you finish building your house and then you're wondering, you wake up one morning and just see spider somewhere enjoying your AC. And you're asking yourself, how did this cobweb form here? It took me months to study spider. And I realized there's something about spider that has to do with strategic positioning. And you must understand, as a young person, you must be strategic if you want to get to a place of power. After the almighty power, the next is political power. And we must find ourselves in that place of power. Remember, the goal is not to be powerful, just to be in the position of power, but the goal is to use that position and drive sustainable growth. Because when you lose the essence of power, then you will become powerful, F-O-O-L. But when you add meaning to power, you become powerful, F-U-L. And that's the kind of leader that I aspire, that I am working towards to, that I want you to be. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. I wish you all the best. And I hope that one day, sometime, somewhere, we will meet again. And when we meet again, you will not be small, but you will be great. Come on, I want you to say with me, I will be great. Thank you so much, everybody, and God bless you all.
Hi, I am Jamie Pajoel, a global leadership and a business trainer. When your business has hit a plateau and your people are suffering from sameness, same skills, same structure, same system, and same strategy, you need to radically shift their behavior to improve performance. As a leadership and a business expert, I have the requisite experience and the pedigree required for designing, implementing, and managing training programs which fosters human capital development. I incorporate real case studies and practical applications needed for developing leadership competencies, personal effectiveness, and driving organizational growth and success.